what I'm excited to do though is talk to you about kind of a shared angle that we have, which is really bringing this kind of tantric philosophy across to other realms, and particularly today to talk about money and this theme that you've thrown my way of money as a lover. And I think that'll be interesting for a lot of people because, there's a lot of people who would follow your work and know you, but they probably haven't been exposed to that conversation as much. So I'm
Let's
excited
talk
to dig
about
into that.
money.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the deep taboos, a lot like talking about sex. Money is a big button pusher, a super activator.
Yeah. And it's, there's this kind of rant that I've had over the years that I'm kind of almost getting sick of hearing myself have, but it's kind of like, I'd hang out in these sort of high powered kind of business rooms, and I'm like, everyone's so kick ass on the money achievement level, but you talk about a penis or a vaginus or an anus, even things that don't exist. You talk about any body part or anything a little bit kinky or anything, and there's just a shudder of like, whoa. And in the States, it's interesting because as an Australian, somehow they're like, oh, he's Australian, he'll just say those things. But there's kind of this like, we don't really go there sort of vibe,
Which is
And
great. I hang out in the opposite circles where, talking about genitals and masturbation and, it's all that's commonplace. But the minute someone says, so what's your annual income? It's like
yeah,
crickets.
yeah. And that's my other world too. And I've noticed the same thing. And I'm like, oh, these guys are prepared to put in like 10 or 20 years of like deep shadow work around sexuality stuff. But if I talk about like, God forbid, like tax planning or like, long-term financial plans or investing, it's just like, ugh, like it's like I brought up fisting at the other party, it's like, whoa, that's not okay. Why do you think that is? Like, let's say with the Tantra people, which a lot of people who are going to end up listening to this will have come through sort of conscious community sort of worlds, I'd imagine. Why do you
There's
think money is a taboo?